Hello, my name's Proper Panda, and I kind of wanted just to go over ML5 HEADHUNT because I saw a lot of people on Reddit kind of just like a lot of newbies just questioning who they should take, and I'm seeing the same couple of heroes thrown around, and I don't mind that or anything like that. Like, I'm not here to specifically say go get a certain hero or anything like that. I'm just gonna kind of throw my own thoughts on the whole idea into perspective, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to follow the meta too much, and the meta isn't timeless, right? It's going to change. Certain units are not going to be good a year from now. I can attest to this. I took a Ravi from my last Headhunt event, and I don't use her anymore, not much, at least, and I don't really regret it, although I did recently get a Dupe Park. I don't really regret it. It's like I used her for maybe 6 to 8 months in PvP, but she weren't the timeless hero that everyone thought she was going to be. She has kind of had a bit of a fall off. She's still okay. I can still use her sometimes in PvP, and you know, I don't have the greatest APOC in the world or anything like that. I would never even claim to, but she's definitely not used as much in PvP as she was maybe 6 or 8 months ago, back when she was kind of just ruling the meta. So as you can see here, I've been doing it. I still haven't gotten the hero that I want. I'm personally looking for Briar Witch Syria, but I don't necessarily say that you should get Briar Witch. The only character who I think everybody has to get, if you don't already have her, is Spectre Tenebria, which if you haven't got her yet, the video stops here, right? Get Spectre Tenebria. I don't care, like, just end. Right, okay, now that that's over, so if we're talking about just getting a character from here, there's many different ways you could look at it. A lot of people are worried about the meta. Some people are trying to get characters for PvE. To that I say, quite simply, ML5s aren't made for PvE. They may be useful for PvE, but they're not made for it. So please, please, please don't waste your picks on, like, this is a really rare thing, right? You're getting an ML5 and you're going to waste it on using it for one game mode. Like, you have to pick something that's going to be usable, or at least a character you're going to like. So one thing that I didn't see a whole lot of people talking about was using fribbles to decide who you get, because I think one thing that's very important is your playstyle and your gear, right? There's no point picking up a Lionheart Surmia or a Lone Crescent Bellona if the character itself isn't made for your account, right? For example, I play pretty aggressively, right? Like, I have a lot of units that are built like pretty aggressively, like my Pirate Captain or my Landy. I even use my Hua-Young and my Green Lilius, right? So picking a character like Lionheart Surmia up for me wouldn't be that good, but for turn 2 players or people who need something to counter the current state of counterattacks, then maybe Lionheart Surmia is the pick for you. But there's no point getting a character if you don't have any of the gear towards getting the character. So for me personally, I already have like a full build ready for my Briar Witch, right? She's not the greatest or anything like that, but I have a full build. It's there, I have it in my head, and I know what I want, right? So this is how my Briar Syria will look when I get her, but I just don't have her yet, right? But I have the build, it's there, I know what I'm getting, right? And if I didn't have the gear for her, I probably would have chose something else. If maybe I didn't have a spare attack ring, yeah, it's on my Milim right now, but I don't use Milim that much, so I can afford to get rid of my Milim's gear and put it on other characters. In a similar instance, I know Zio is coming up soon, and I have the pity ready for him, so I already have the full set of gear that I'm going to use on Zio already on Fribbles. Now, if you've never used Fribbles before now, I really recommend it. It's pretty finicky to set up. and there's a video done by Fribbles himself on YouTube that goes over how he set it up and do all of that. I really suggest you go through it, because it is really important for you to do. And I think I talk to a lot of like newer players, maybe on EU Channel 1, which I'm often on, just dumb chatting and, you know, having fun, messing around, maybe flexing some characters sometimes, even though I don't have the greatest pool or the best builds. I think, you know, having that fun on Channel 1 for me kind of, I don't know, I just like it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. So if you are on EU Channel 1, you might even find me on there sometimes. Maybe I'm saying some stupid stuff or some stuff that you don't agree with. But hey, we can all have our own opinions, right? And I still believe that Lou is not broken, but okay. I know a lot of people on there will disagree with me on that one. But yeah, I genuinely believe that if you're going to get a character, you need to at least have most of the gear ready, or you know where you can get that gear and you're farming that gear and you're going to get it, right? Because there's no point getting a character that you're just not going to be able to use for the next 6 months. Even back when I got my APOC, it was a really bad build, but I had an APOC, right? Like, it was like 20k HP, 1k defense, 180 speed on counter set or something. It was, I don't even think it had pen set at the time. And now, you know, I have a lot better of the build for it, but if you can't get a character, if you can't build the character you want, then at least just take a character that you like the look of, right? There's no point picking up some character that you don't like at all if you just building them for no reason. For example, I picked my Sylvan Sage Vivian up from Pity. I don't regret it, even though she isn't the best character. She looks hot, right? She has uses. I use her a lot versus ML Ken. As long as they don't death break me, I'm usually kind of fine against him. But honestly, I wouldn't suggest picking up a character that you don't particularly like. For example, I know a lot of people don't like Hangai. Me neither, really. I really don't like him, and if you've come to my streams at any time, you'll know that I often scream and shout about him, or at least I used to a couple months ago before I built my Green Lilies and Hua Young. To kind of deal with him, LRKs, Destinos, all of that sort of nonsense. I don't really like it, so I built something to deal with it. I also just don't like how he looks. Although his skin does make him look a little bit nicer. He looks a bit like an edgy Seto Kaiba, if you will. But I really wouldn't suggest picking up a character like Lone Crescent Bologna if you don't have the gear for it. She's already extremely hard to gear. This is a really bad build that I just threw together. I put it on her. It works for me. I'm in champion right now. And you know, she's there to one-shot the ML Landy, or at least get close to it, and kind of just sit there and be like this annoying champ, right? I usually first pick Arden, so I don't really have to deal with that entire problem. But yeah, if you're going to pick a character, pick one that you like. I know, for example, if you're looking at getting Pirate Captain and you don't have C-Series Artifact, it might be a bit hard for you to really sit there and go, okay, well, I want to get Pirate Captain, because you don't know when the next custom banner is going to come around. It's probably going to be like sometime next year, and you don't really want to be waiting 5 months, 6 months to get her artifact, especially if you don't even have Seal of Capture. Luckily I got mine from a Galaxy Covenant summon, and I do like her, but again, it comes down to your playstyle. So overall, if I was to say, go research your playstyle and go check on Fribbles, look at your gear and see where your weak spots in gear are. That you don't want to go for death scalers if you don't have death scaling gear. But if you have a lot of DPS gear and a lot of like attack, crit chance, crit damage, you might want to go for a character that, you know, deals massive amounts of damage. Maybe you have lifesteal gear like that, and maybe you can throw it on a Rylet, or maybe you've got really fast gear and you'll want a Zeo, right? have a look where your strong point is, or at least where your strong gear is, right, that you have left over, or on characters that you're not currently using too much, and kind of go for it. I will make some quick recommendations for characters that I think are somewhat timeless, or at least are very strong and don't really have like a counter, or at least a way to play against them much. So Zio, for example, Solitaria is another one that's kind of like really annoying, and she doesn't require the most gear. I know Zio does. Zio has really low base speed. You've got the obvious ones like Conqueror Lilius and Hangai, but you should be picking one of them two up from Theta. And also Zio is going to be on the next banner, so if you have enough to pity for the next banner, then I would suggest just waiting out this ML Ludwig banner, especially if you're not a cleaver, and picking up Zio. Zio is very important, and I know there's been a lot of talk lately about how if you don't have somebody to follow him up, it's kind of pointless. But I still think that Zio right now is extremely strong, right? He punishes Conqueror Lilius, a character that not a lot of people can deal with. I'm not really included in that margin, so I don't really find Conqueror Lilius too hard to deal with, considering I have like Designer Lilibet and my Moon Bunny Bill, and my Infinite Horizon Akati, so I can kind of, I always have something that might throw off the opponent when playing C. Lilius against me, right? Some characters that I won't suggest though is, for example, Silverblade Aramintha, Spares, Blood Moon Haze, sorry, I'm completely forgetting names. Opsig I probably wouldn't suggest, Arby, Judge Kisei. I'm just trying to think what if I got on here that I wouldn't suggest. But most of these characters, maybe Flidica if you're a new player as well. Flidica's a very strong opener. In fact, I think kit-wise, she's the strongest opener in the entire game, apart from maybe Narqual. But that's only via kit, because she has horrific base speed, and she also is pretty hard to play, especially if you're not a cleaver. So, as a kind of end to this summary, don't pick Maid Chloe if you're a cleaver. Oh, sorry about that. Don't pick Maid Chloe if you're a cleaver. Don't pick Briar Witch Hysteria if you're a turn 2 player, right? Don't pick Ryla if you wanna not get hit, right? Oh, I also won't suggest Tomoka, but Tomoka is hot, and there's a lot of other characters that are quite hot. If that's what you play for, if you're a waifu collector, just pick the one that you like, right? If you're not playing RTA, or you're not playing World Arena, normal arena, then honestly, just pick who you like more. I think you'll have more fun on the game playing with a character you like Tomoka, or I know Melissa's a normal RGB 5-star, but for me, I had a lot of fun back before I got into RTA, just playing Melissa, right? And even when I started RTA, as you can see, if you scroll down on my account, on my YouTube account, you'll see that I had a lot of games where I was just picking Melissa, like every game. And I really enjoyed playing that, right? I had fun with that, and I still have fun when I can draft her, but I play her a little bit smarter now. And I have other picks that I have which are equally fun just for me. I know maybe they're not fun for others, but hey, I want to play my Hua Young, you know? So again, just don't necessarily rely on tier lists and stuff like that, because yes, they might be like close to right. We're all gonna have our own controversial opinions about why this character shouldn't be on here on the tier list and whatever, but I think overall, just play the place, like find out, research what playstyle you want to play, and pick a character from the list that you want, that you think is really imperative for the playstyle, or even go ask, what should I pick if I play this playstyle in RTA? And try and gear your account towards it. And even better, if you already have the gear, use that gear and put it on them, right? You wanna, when you're a new player, you wanna have something that's gonna actually impact your account. Because otherwise, why are you getting the hero? Anyway, that's gonna be all from me. I know I haven't really said much opinion or anything like that, but I kind of just wanted to highlight like the use that Fribbles has is more than just sorting out your gear. You can also use it to look at what characters you might want to gear next, or how close you are to the gear requirements that you want to gear this hero. And again, it's really useful. And for example, I recently decided that I wanted to build a red Lilius, right? Now, my red Lilius on my actual Epic 7 account is only 5-starred, right? She's not fully awakened or anything like that, but it's already told me what stat line I'm going to be getting on her, right? And that's like a really, really important thing for me now. I want to know what gear I'm putting on them. I want to know how good the gear is going to look, right? And now I look at this, I go, okay, this gear, I can build Lilius with this gear. This is all just spare gear that I have, and yeah, I can build her. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be able to use her in Guild Wars sometimes. Maybe I can use her in my Guild Wars defense or my arena defense. Sometimes maybe even in RTA. I have the Ancient Dragon's Legacy artifact, so I can play her against Lua if I ever come up versus Lua, although usually I'm the one taking Lua, let's be honest. So yeah, overall, I just wanted to highlight some stuff to the newer players that maybe haven't heard about Fribbles, or even if they have, maybe they don't know the full use of it and they just think, oh, it just gears my characters for me. It's not really that simple, you know, like it does the calculations for you so you can see kind of what you want, but you can kind of put in the stat filters that you want to see before you're happy with it. And you can also look at like gearing multiple characters at the same time. I've used this feature many times when gearing my fast DPSs, especially like Sid, Briarwitch. What other DPSs did I use to gear this stuff? I think at one point I was even using like my Jacko, maybe even my Gala Lilius in here. So yeah, I hope you guys have thought about this a bit more, and maybe you're gonna try and think of like how you're gonna go about it now, and aren't gonna think too much about what's meta, but instead try and just pick something that's going to be actually useful to your account and the way that you play. As I said, there's no point picking up Requiem Rowana unless you like her. If you're a full turn 2 player, like you're not going to be able to make her work unless you're playing something like maybe Carmen, Maid, and trying to do some cheese with her. Like I don't think that would be the smartest idea, but at the same time, if you already have Zeo, or you're going to pity Zeo on the next banner, and you want to pick Requiem Rowana, you already have Jacko from the Guilty Gear collab not so long ago, then honestly, go for it. I don't see why you can't, just because maybe you don't have the gear completely sorted. Just make sure that you're picking units that are going to actually affect your account. You can try and pick some like timeless classics, but in 3 weeks time they might be not so meta anymore and you'll just feel like you regret it. Anyway, that's going to be me. And if you've got any questions, don't be afraid to leave them down below. If you want to know how good a character is, or whether these stat lines are going to be enough, I can give you rough ideas. I'm not the best player, right? I don't have the best gear score or anything like that. Like, if you look at my account, I don't really have good gear score, like, at all. That doesn't mean to say that I don't know, like, base stat lines and stuff like that. Or if you just need like a recommendation of what the stat lines for 3 or 4 characters are, if I don't know it, I can at least look it up or ask around and ask people that I know and try and find it out for you. Anyway, that's going to be me for the 5 millionth time. I seem to keep doing this. Goodbye.